Well, Joe Budden goes ham for 20 minutes on Peter Rosenberg. Peter Rosenberg tried to call out Joe Budden for Joe Budden calling him out last week on his podcast saying, Peter Rosenberg was on a sports show, and when X passed, these guys on the sports show didn't know who X was, XXXTENTACION. So he started off by saying he isn't an angel. Like, that was the wrong thing to say for Peter Rosenberg, and I agree with Joe Budden for calling him out, because why would you say that to some guys who don't know him? Why would you introduce somebody like that? It's disrespectful, like Joe said, to his family, friends, and fans, okay, who are mourning at this moment, okay? This kid did a lot of good, okay? Yeah, he had a couple bad things associated with his name and that we didn't agree with. But he got his life stolen from him over some money, man. Like, have some compassion. So then Peter Rosenberg goes on to defend himself against Joe. And then in that, he insulted Joe, saying he's a loser. He never made it as far as he did in hip-hop, as Peter Rosenberg did. Said he's the worst member of Slaughterhouse. He said he's a drug addict. He said he's this and that. And then Joe was on vacation, so when he came back, he responded. And he said, hey, man, you still, even on your Complex show, started off, he isn't an angel. Like, you keep disrespecting his family, his friends, like, why even bring that up, man? Why? Why even bring that up when he's passed, okay? He was murdered. It wasn't like he passed or he did something and you know, like he did something to ask for this. He went to go buy a motorcycle, man. You know, like, you know, it's just like this. Streets are fucking cold sometimes, man. And this was cold. And Joe Budden is completely right in this situation. He said, you know, he probably was emotional about the situation because he feels a way towards Joe about his relationship with Charlemagne, because, you know, we all know Peter Rosenberg hates Charlemagne, about how Peter Rosenberg thinks he deserves credit for the success of Joe Budden's podcast, when maybe you introduced him to podcasting, but Joe Budden had to work at his podcast, and he is good at his podcast. I love Joe Budden's podcast. It's one of my favorite podcasts. It's funny. He has good outtake on everything. It's funny, okay? Peter Rosenberg's podcast wasn't so good, but Peter Rosenberg's good at the other things he does. Sports, wrestling. You know, I'm not in those things, but I know he's successful at those things. The morning show, it's okay. And then the funniest thing, Joe, said he ran to, and I like Ebro, so there's nothing against Ebro, okay? But he said he ran to Ebro so he could stroke Peter Rosenberg's pussy and make him feel better and more confident to go on Twitter and go at Joe. And I thought that was funny. I think that Peter Rosenberg just handled this wrong. And like Joe said, all he had to do was apologize and say, I was wrong for that, and move forward, and it would have been gone. But he really stuck with it. He stuck with it for a whole week. It took him a whole week to say he was wrong. And the only reason he said it was wrong is because all X's fans were probably bashing him. You know, because X had a cult-like fan base, okay? His fans loved him, okay? He had a huge fan base, still does, okay? I don't mean to say had. He does have a huge fan base. And they support him, and they'll keep his name alive. They will keep his name alive. I'll link it below. Joe Budden gave him a proper spanking. But anyways, man, you know, these guys will go on. They'll respect each other from a distance. And I'm sure they'll be friends again, because that's just how the industry works. But anyways, hey, it is what it is. Check it out for yourself. It's below. It's Jordan Tower, JT News. I'm sure we'll hear from Peter Rosenberg tomorrow. Hit that bell at the subscribe button if you want to ask the channel. It's jordantowermedia@gmail.com. I'll check you guys later. Appreciate you. Peace.